Yo, YouTube, today we're at to Reddit accounts abandoned for disturbing reasons. Let's get straight to it.
The now abandoned Sustanet account on Reddit looks very ordinary at first glance. Most of its posts were about collecting virtual pets like Tamagotchis or the wildly popular tabletop war game Warhammer 40,000. More specifically, Sustanet was interested in painting Warhammer minifigures and sharing his work on the internet. On the 1st of November 2020, he shared another one of these minifigures on the Warhammer subreddit, but this one was a bit different. The finished product. My girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter planned and painted this scheme, with a bit of help from me on the helmet and small bits. She is very proud, and it looks pretty darn good. This post didn't receive much attention at the time, but the few replies it did receive were very positive. Your girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter paints better than any pro painter I've ever seen on eBay. Great work. She should be proud. That's definitely a lot better than some stuff I see from adults. But more recent comments had a much different tone. Have a horrible time in jail. She would have been an amazing artist. She could have grown up to be such an amazing artist if she wanted to. I'm sorry, Maddie. At first, it's unclear what they're referencing, until you look a bit further. The incident started on February 26, 2024. At around 4:30 p.m., Jennifer Soto went to the Hunters Creek Middle School in Orlando, Florida to pick up her daughter Madeline, or known to most as Maddie. But when she asked for Maddie, school staff told her that her daughter never arrived that day. Jennifer initially presumed that Maddie must have gone to her grandmother's office, which was close to the school. Unfortunately, she wasn't there either. So she began searching for Maddie in the surrounding areas on her own, and also told someone to call the police.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
I feel like as a parent, if you can take your child to school, do it. Don't be lazy, and especially if like your kid is under the age of like 15, 16 years old. Bro, it's so many situations where like young people going to school by themselves, bro, and then they be coming up missing. If you can take your kid to school, take your kid to school. Don't try to be lazy and think, oh, this and that. I don't want to take my kid to school, so I'm gonna let my kid go by himself. I hate when parents do that. That's lazy. I don't care if you gotta walk. You don't even. People try to use like not having a car as an excuse. You could just walk with your kid. Especially, like I said, if it's your kid's under the age of 15 or 16 years old. Because I be seeing like 9-year-olds go to school by themselves. I'm like, what? That's way too young to be walking to school by yourself. I don't care how close the school is from your house, gang.
And do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
Maddie was officially reported missing at around 8 p.m., triggering an immediate search and rescue effort. Over 50 members of the emergency response team went door to door in the neighborhood, asking if anyone had seen Maddie earlier that day. However, despite looking for her all night, they couldn't find a single clue about her whereabouts. The person who dropped her off at school was Jennifer's boyfriend of 7 years, the owner of the Sustanet Reddit account, Stephen Stearns. When asked about it, he claimed Maddie asked to be dropped off a few blocks away from the school so her friends wouldn't see her in Stephen's old car.
So it's like around where these communities were.
Okay.
And it's just like in this strip.
That night, Stearns showed deputies the spot where he says Madeline got out of his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ.
She had also left her phone at home that morning and didn't have a smartwatch or any other trackable devices on her. But just as the situation was starting to look hopeless, investigators found their first lead. Going through her phone revealed messages she sent to her friends where she talked about running away and living in the woods after she turned 13. This prompted a much wider search across the many hiking trails and wooded areas around the school, which unfortunately also led nowhere. With no other options, investigators turned their attention back towards immediate family, and especially Stephen. He was the last person who saw Maddie, turning him into a prime suspect in her disappearance. Stephen, however, stuck to his story.
When I left her, she was on the other side of the street, rummaging through her backpack and just kind of...
I don't believe that she would just want to run away for no reason. Her parents got to be doing something to her.
moving towards the school area.
No kid's just gonna want to run away for no reason. It always starts with the parents or whoever they living with.
Yeah, so
In the meantime, Jennifer went to the media to help spread the word about her missing daughter.
I want her to be okay, and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back. Whatever that means, I just want her back.
What she didn't know was that the person responsible for Maddie's disappearance was sitting right beside her. You see, Stefan had told the officers about multiple locations he went to after dropping off Maddie before returning home, including a vape shop and a game store. But when officers checked CCTV footage, they saw him driving in the area, but never entering any of the places he claimed to have visited, almost as if he was just creating potential alibis in case he was ever questioned. CCTV footage around his apartment complex also showed him making a stop and discarding items into a dumpster before driving away, something he didn't mention at all during questioning. When investigators checked the dumpster, they found a school backpack containing Maddie's purple hoodie and her school laptop. This resulted in Stefan getting arrested on the morning of February 28, but many aspects of the case were still unknown. The final piece of the puzzle was discovered on February 29th when police discovered CCTV footage of Stefan driving with Maddie strapped in the front seat. However, she was slumped over, indicating that she was likely knocked out. This made even more sense when investigators also found a purchase record of him buying sevoflurane from Walmart 2 days before Maddie went missing. Sevoflurane, for those who don't know, is a medical anesthetic similar to chloroform. Footage from a hotel's parking lot also showed him taking her out of the front seat and putting her in the trunk. Then, on the 1st of March, investigators received a tip from someone who saw him changing his car's tire on Hickory Tree Road on the morning of February 26, and a search of the area revealed that him having to stop on the road wasn't a coincidence. In a wooded area just off the road, officers found the remains of Maddie, hidden under some grass, confirming Jennifer's worst fear. Stefan was charged with first-degree murder and was sentenced to 21 life sentences without parole in July 2024.
By the way, R.I.P. to that young girl. R.I.P. her. God, that's crazy. 21 life sentences.
With the pictures of Maddie he previously posted on his now abandoned Reddit account serving as a constant reminder of his heinous crime.
Deserved.
On September 30, 2017, Reddit user KillaCun made a post on the stand-up comedy subreddit talking about the passing of comedian Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal doesn't get the proper recognition he deserves. If not for his unfortunate, untimely early passing, he would without a doubt be considered the greatest comedian of all time. And while many agreed with him in the comments, the top reply had a different tone. If not for his unfortunate, untimely early passing. Yeah, like your son? This comment was referring to the tragedy that happened just 3 days after this post. Almost a year before this post, the OP posted a picture of a baby holding a computer mouse to his ear titled, "My son thinks everything is a phone." It was a very innocent, wholesome post. Sadly, a year later, it would become a reminder of the horrific incident that happened on October 3, 2017. That day, 27-year-old Christopher Kun, the man behind the KillaCun account, took his then 2-year-old son to the Levittown Town Center Walmart in Pennsylvania. But he wasn't there to shop. Immediately after entering the store, Christopher tried to shoplift a $228 soundbar. He was confronted by security officers trying to stop him from leaving. Security also called the police, resulting in him getting more scared, shouting, "You can't hold me here," and rushing back to his car with his 2-year-old son.
You really think you can... Bro, do you know how big a sound bar is? Sound bars is pretty big. Like width-wise. How do you think... Or length. How did you think he was going to be able to steal a sound bar? Like, some people be stupid. Relax.
Son. The son climbed into the back seat, leading Christopher to make the worst mistake he could have made in that situation. He forgot to strap him into the toddler seat. Instead, he climbed into the driver's seat and sped off. He wasn't even being chased by the police yet, but he kept driving at an unsafe speed. He then tried to run a red light at an intersection just a few hundred feet from the Walmart. Unfortunately, that's where his luck ran out. In an effort to flee the scene, he T-boned another vehicle, resulting in his car rolling over. Christopher himself was buckled in, allowing him to come out of the crash with minimal injuries. Sadly, his son was ejected from the car and landed violently on the roadway, passing away on the spot. Witnesses also saw Chris...
Mind you, all of this is for a sound bar. Like, sound bars is not even that good to be doing this over. All of this trying to get away to steal a soundbar.
Christopher stepping out of the car and looking at the remains of his own son before continuing to flee on foot. Fortunately, the police arrived at the scene moments later and arrested Christopher, who was trying to hide in the plants next to the road. Further investigation revealed that he was under the influence of drugs, which may have contributed to his erratic behavior. Christopher also turned out to have an extensive criminal record, including theft, fraud, terroristic threats against his wife, and many more. He was also driving with a suspended license due to prior drug possession. He stood trial on March 28, 2018 on charges of third-degree murder, child endangerment, and others. He was later sentenced to 8.5 to 30 years in prison, and as far as I was able to find, he remains behind bars with
That's a little bit too little. He need way more than that.
no reports of his release. On the 11th of August 2018, Reddit user Galpticos posted a very run-of-the-mill meme on the Dank Memes subreddit. There was nothing too notable about it, and it received little attention at the time. But if you visit the post today, you'll see strange comments like, "Bro, this is crazy. The history behind this guy is actually insane. This is actually disturbing. He's probably in hell now." They seem very out of place at first, but learning what the owner of this account did, they're not all that surprising. You see, there were two constants on the Galpticos Reddit account, Fortnite and depression. The owner of the account, 19-year-old Farhan Tawheed, often discussed his mental health struggles with others on the site, and things seemed to be looking up for him. One of the most recent comments on his account was a reply to a post asking depressed people how they were doing that day, to which Farhan replied, "The past few weeks have been great. I finally moved on from 2 toxic relationships that I was trying to hold on to for way too long. Thanks for asking." It looked like he was looking forward to improving his life. Unfortunately, that's not how things played out. The incident happened on the night of April 5th at around 1 a.m. when Farhan posted a Google Drive link to his Instagram. Inside was a 7-page document detailing what he was about to do and why. It opened with the chilling line, "Hey everyone, I killed myself and my family. If I'm going to die, I might as well get some attention." The rest of the document went on to detail the plan he made with his brother to
See, that's
purchase.
people's problem. Did he just really say, if I'm going to die, I might as well give myself attention? This world, bro. And that's crazy. Like, doing any crime or doing anything to get attention from other people that you don't even know or whatever, you sick. That's a sick mind.
Guns and take out the rest of his family when the time came. He talked about how his depression had persisted for most of his life, and that there were many people who tried to help him, but they all failed and eventually ended up ghosting him. In a segment about happiness, he wrote, "It's not fair. I did everything right, every little thing right, and I'm still just apathetic. Everyone's allowed to worry about their future, and I can't even think about what I'm going to do tomorrow without enduring an existential crisis. It's not fair how everyone can be so content while I can't even fathom being happy. No matter what I do, I just can't be happy." He also mentioned his reason for ending his family as well, which essentially boiled down to they'll be sad after he's gone, so this is a better option. He was clearly facing serious mental struggles, but at this point it was already too late. One of his friends noticed the concerning Instagram post and requested a welfare check. Officers arrived at the scene just a few minutes later. Unfortunately, there was nothing they could do. The house was fully locked, and by the time they managed to break in, all 6 family members had already passed away from gunshot wounds, leaving Farhan's abandoned Reddit account as a snapshot of how he felt leading up to the brutal massacre.
That's so selfish. Why not just take yourself out this world? Why do you gotta bring other people with you? If you're not happy and you feel like you want to take yourself out, do it. Don't try to take other people out and then take yourself out. That's the most... Why even do that?
N.M. Wrights, or Nicholas Cassotis, became a prominent horror fiction writer on Reddit in 2019, with some of his stories receiving tens of thousands of upvotes. What none of his readers knew, however, was that the writer of these fictional horror stories would end up living through something similar himself. As a fan's comment on his last post on Reddit states, You were always a good writer, but a bad husband. His crime first came to light on December 2nd, 2022, when a group of hunters found a human torso inside a plastic container at a hunting park in Riceboro, Georgia. When police arrived at the scene, they found another plastic container and a knife nearby. A more thorough search of the area also revealed several other dismembered parts of the same person, scattered in a 3-mile radius of the initial finding. Unfortunately, it took until May 11 to identify the person through DNA testing. This turned out to be Mindy Casotis, a 40-year-old woman from Savannah, Georgia. The very next day, police arrested 4-year-old Nicholas Casotis, known online as NM Wrights, as the prime suspect in the case. He was married to another woman named Samantha by this point and was living with her in Pennsylvania. Investigation into his past revealed
Philadelphia again. Pennsylvania.
That Mindy Casotis was actually his second wife. He got divorced from his first wife and was ordered to pay $1.5 million in alimony in 2016. But instead of paying the amount, he went on the run and married Mindy the same year. They ended up moving to many different places over the years, eventually settling in an Airbnb with her parents in Savannah, Georgia. Then, on the 1st of December 2022, he told her parents that she went to the hospital for high blood pressure related issues. There, the situation got worse and she ended up passing away due to a stroke. Not long after that, he moved to Pennsylvania to marry Samantha, his now third wife. This
Pennsylvania again.
appeared to be a very open and shut case of him taking the life of his wife and running away to a new location to hide. He stood trial on August 5, 2025, and that's when he came out with his version of what happened, which to any of his readers sounded like another one of the fictional stories he used to write on Reddit. According to Nick, his name appeared in a 2016 article about exposing a scandal in the US military. Looking through that article now, it shows that his name was only mentioned in passing and had little to do with the scandal. But according to Nick, he started experiencing strange occurrences after this mention, like unauthorized charges on his bank account or mail disappearing from his mailbox. So he contacted the FBI, and that's when he met an FBI agent named Jim McIntyre. Nick claimed that Jim became his handler from that point on. He managed his finances, helped him move several times to avoid the powerful people who were after him, and even helped him sell one of his horror stories to Sony. Jim even went as far as to get him a remote job at a software company. This resulted in him and Mindy fully trusting Jim and doing everything he said, even sticking with him through disagreements.
But you didn't cut ties with Jim, correct?
We did not, no. Mindy felt that Jim was our, our angel. She said, he had made mistakes, but, we would be in the position to fix all those mistakes, and if we stopped working together, then who knows, if his resolve to see this end in our favor was going to go away,
Nick then told the same story he told her parents, that she went to the hospital for a checkup and ended up passing away. He also added that the hospital had cremated her remains before he could see her. Mindy's mother later testified that she believed Nick because she had no reason not to. He also told her that Mindy likely died due to the carelessness of a nurse and that he was going to file a lawsuit against the hospital. But instead of following through, he left her house not long after. This story he was giving already sounded like fiction by this point, but
Who's believing that? Like, that's not believable.
Nick stayed adamant that every part of it was true. Maybe he thought this would be enough to convince the jury of his innocence, especially since there was no direct proof of his involvement. Unfortunately for him, the prosecution came prepared with undeniable circumstantial evidence. For instance, purchase records revealed that he bought things like latex gloves, a shovel, and a hunting knife set leading up to the crime. Cell phone data also showed that his car was present at the hunting park in Riceboro, Georgia on December 1st. Most importantly, investigators discovered that he was in a relationship with Samantha while he was still married to Mindy. He likely wanted to be with Samantha but didn't want to go through the divorce process again, so he decided to end her life instead. He also tried to cover his tracks by sending an email to Mindy's parents from a burner email account, claiming that he had died in an accident, just so they wouldn't think of coming after him. Nick believed that writing horror stories about familial crimes gave him the ability to lie his way out of the consequences of his actions. Fortunately, he was sorely mistaken. The trial ended on August 14, 2025, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Hey man, RIP to all the